Our top story tonight, some going down in November.
Wars, spending.
There has got to be something big a-brewing.
They're using geese to guard prisons in Brazil. Does Biden know what
Immigration
Mexico
policies.
is? Would you scare Joe Biden? What are we laughing at? I
Butthole.
think Billy Mays was real.
I'm a world-class skeptic.
I don't know anything about Hunter Biden. I don't know who's big into cocaine and laptops. Why is that our problem? Complete, absolute incompetence. Like, who funds the news? It's a freaking inside job, man. That the entire world's a stage and everything's fake.
Welcome back to another episode of the Veritas Road. Carson here with Murph. Our top story tonight. In Nashville, a young man was apprehended while holding up a bank and soliciting a prostitute at the same time. When asked to comment on what charges the young man will be facing, Metro Police stated, 1 for the money, 2 for the hoe.
Oh, dude, I thought that was real starting out. That was a good one.
I tried.
What about 3 to something and then 4 to something?
I thought about making it like 3 for the hold up and we'll keep the dough.
You should. Why didn't you
but
do that?
That seemed too on the nose.
You should have done that.
It seemed too on the nose to me.
What does on the nose mean?
Like, it's too obvious, too specifically obvious, I wanted it to be a little less.
Oh, like right in front of your face.
Yeah, like
you wanted it to be more
a little bit
subtle.
less on target.
Well, I thought you did
Yeah.
a good job.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Could have come
Woo.
from CNN. It could have come from, I'll just say that every time to your
Oh my gosh.
to your news stories.
Yeah, right. Well, that's our top fake news story. Let's talk about the rest of the actual on the news.
That's right. That's their real news story.
Yeah.
What do you got for me?
So I found one that I thought this is less amusing and more just crazy. So apparently just like a monolith appeared in the mountains outside of Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been happening for a while now.
What's the deal with that? It looks like something from that movie.
Oh, that movie.
What's that? It's
2001: A Space Odyssey.
That.
Yeah, the black one.
That's exactly what it looks
the
like.
Millennium Hilton Hotel, right near the World Trade Centers, looked like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's been happening for like 5 years or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
There
my
was
gosh.
one in Utah. There's been a bunch of them. I can't remember how many, but there's been several of these things.
Have they just been in the U.S. or have they been all over?
I don't know. I think just the U.S., but I'm not sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they show up a little bit and then they disappear.
Like the one in the movie.
Is that what happened in that movie?
Yeah. Have you not seen it?
I hadn't seen it in forever.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We'll have to watch that sometime. Yeah. That's exactly what it seems like. It seems exactly like the movie. That's freaky as all get
Is that a
out.
picture of it right there?
Supposedly. I don't know if it's
Or is it
photoshopped.
just
Hit
like
play,
an
John.
image?
See if you can play that. That has a play button.
Oh, cybersecurity assistant. That's what we want.
I love ads. Skip that ad, John. What are you doing? It's amateur hour.
Oh,
wow.
wow. Hey,
gosh.
it's black, just like it.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, but that looks clear. Why did it look black and that looks like a mirror?
Oh, it just means it's like reflective,
Well, is it different ones? Great. What is that? I can't read that. Eyesight's
Desert
terrible.
National Wildlife Range. I don't know where that is. Okay.
It's clearly
Apparently.
in Nevada because that's where this thing was found. So
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Good job, John.
Look at that guy. He's bald.
Aggressively bald. So, yeah, that's the first one I have for. I have a couple for you tonight.
Yeah, you want to keep that? Is it the same monument that's just been going around, or is it just some random group putting up a bunch of them?
I didn't know there were multiple, so, I mean,
Yeah.
you know better than I do.
Well, that's something for everyone to think about. What else you got?
So apparently there's a woman addicted to eating her own hair, and she had a giant hairball with a tail removed from her stomach.
That's very gross. How did it have a tail? Did it grow a tail?
I don't know.
Did they finally prove spontaneous, life coming from nothing? Did they prove that in a lady's stomach? Oh, I saw the picture. I don't want to see that.
It looks like a little hair baby.
That's terrible, dude.
How do you become
Ugh.
addicted to eating your own hair? That's terrifying.
I don't know, but I wish I'd never seen that picture.
Good
Don't pull that
heavens.
picture up, John. It's awful.
I don't plan to.
That's terrifying. Oh my gosh.
Where's this lady at? Probably like Arkansas or something.
I don't know that I saw a town,
Ugh. I can't look at that picture.
but that's just super scary to me.
Did she have a name? Or is it just a random lady?
I don't think nobody's trying to give out her name. You know, that would be
doxing, I guess.
yeah, that'd be embarrassing.
So why put that on the news then? Just because it's crazy?
Because it's fascinating.
Just so you'll click on it? They
I should have told. There's even a warning on this article. It contains graphic images.
Yeah,
some readers may find distressing.
Well, I'm one of those readers. Good Lord, that was a terrible picture.
I didn't mean to distress you, buddy. I'm sorry. Does that count as assault?
I don't know.
I
read an article where a Spanish court had ruled unconsented kissing as sexual assault. So if I just went up and kissed you, then I sexually assaulted you.
I've been kissed without my consent many times.
Well, I haven't, but I guess you've been sexually assaulted.
I have been
in Spain. We're not in Spain, but if you were in Spain, you would be.
I could press charges.
You could.
I'd be a rich man in Spain. I've been sexually assaulted by men and women. I've had several men just kiss me on the cheek with no warning. Terrifying.
Well, I don't know if it was just kissing on the cheek. I just saw the thumbnail.
It had to be like mouth kissing.
Probably. At least mouth. Maybe even tongue. But I don't know.
We should find out. We should dig into that.
I don't know. It was on Drudge. I picked a different article to go over. I just saw that one.
Fair enough. My last one. A Russian man was arrested under anti-terror law after talking about the philosophy of yoga.
Ooh, what's the philosophy of yoga?
I don't really know, but it says that, well, I mean, the headline highlights what happens exactly. I mean, how crazy is that?
That's pretty bizarre. I don't know what the philosophy of yoga is, so what if it was justified? Like, what if it was like preaching Satan? Does yoga secretly preach Satan?
What does that have to do with an anti-terror law, though, you know?
Well, I mean, Satan's a terrorist, is he not? Would you say one of Satan's many qualities is being a terrorist?
I think we might have gone a little far afield in this discussion.
Well, I'm just trying to analyze the headline.
Well, we can start with the fact that yoga isn't satanic.
Okay, well then, all right, we've established that, so now we can move on from what I was saying.
And if I remember correctly, I mean, yoga's roots are typically found in, like Buddhist culture.
Yeah, like
right?
chakras and stuff,
yeah.
And like you 7 different chakras and opening them up and stuff.
And all of that's pretty peaceful.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
How many Buddhist terrorists have you met on the street?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who's Buddhist. Do you?
Yeah.
No. You're well-rounded, man.
I have a relative who claims to be Buddhist.
Really?
Yeah.
On your mom or your dad's side?
My mom's.
That's fascinating.
They live in Michigan.
Well,
one of them's dead now, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't really keep track of that side of my family. They're all insane.
Is it the Buddhist one?
Yeah. Well, they were both Buddhist. It was a couple. They didn't have any kids.
I was going to ask, well, is she a raccoon now?
Maybe.
She's going to make a Buddhist joke.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they believe?
Silliness, reincarnation.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're both dead, and apparently this guy was arrested because he talked about it. So,
well,
what kind of a world are we living in where you can't talk about anything?
Well, that's in Russia. They're communists, so they can. No, they're not.
They're not communists.
They used
anymore.
to be communists.
Yeah.
So what are they now? Are they fascists now?
Well, it depends on who you talk to, the right or the left.
So why we don't like them because why? They're not communists anymore. The guy gets so confused.
We don't like him because we hate Putin.
But why though? He's not communist.
Because we hate him. You can't question that. We just hate him. Okay, that's the rule.
All right. Well, I know we don't like China because they're communists, but I guess they're kind of like fascist. Russia's fascist. I'm just gonna say it, and that's why we hate them.
You're just gonna be bold and boldly say that Russia's fascist.
Right.
I don't actually know why we hate Russia.
Not me either. Well, they attack Ukraine.
Right. Supposedly. That's the story.
So we hate them because of that, even
Right.
though they did that 10 years ago in Crimea and nobody bat an eye. But when they do it now, it's an issue.
I guess it wasn't socially cool then to talk about it.
Yeah.
We only talk about the cool invasions, the ones that are sexy to talk about.
Yeah, I wonder how many invasions happen that don't get talked about.
I'm sure it's a ton.
Like how many people? Like there's home invasions that doesn't really get talked about.
That's on a little bit of a smaller scale.
Yeah, but if you put like 200 home invasions, that can equal like a third of the Crimean problem. So if you just keep mounting up,
I don't understand the point you're trying to make.
I don't either. I'm just trying to.
What news story do you have for me?
Well, apparently there's a picture. John, pull up the picture. The picture's what made me laugh at it.
What?
They got a picture of Trump putting nuclear secrets in like a closet in Mar-a-Lago with a bunch of his Diet Coke. Apparently. and I wouldn't have clicked on it if they hadn't had a picture of it. Where's the picture, John? I sent it to the email. It's so ridiculous.
Somebody's suggesting that he put
Yeah, they got a picture.
nuclear codes
John,
in
where's
a
the
closet
picture?
with Diet Coke.
Trying
Yeah.
to.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
How the heck
John,
did
click that last tab right there. I see it. The last tab. No, that's the first. There you go.
Oh,
there it
I was in
is.
the wrong one. Sorry.
Look at that.
And there's the Diet Coke.
Yeah, the rug. That's a sweet rug.
Well, I mean, it's a freaking mansion, bro.
Yeah, but for a Mar-a-Lago mansion, even his closet, he's got like, a storage shelf you can buy at like Walmart. Look at that plastic.
Well, I mean,
This
we're talking
commercial
about the billionaire who eats McDonald's, so what do you expect? You know?
Yeah, who took that picture? Did Trump take that picture? Or maybe it was Eric.
Maybe. Maybe it was Barron.
That could have been him. He's still at home, right? So it might have been him.
Yeah.
He's like 17 or something.
He's just the only one whose name I know.
Yeah, well, you know Trump Jr. because it's just Trump, but Jr., right?
So it's Donald Trump Jr.?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's the oldest
Well, I
one.
guess I know that one too then, yeah.
Yeah, that was my point.
Okay.
So I thought that was funny. I mean, I didn't read this. I just thought it was hilarious they had a picture of it. Here,
Yeah.
John, go up. See if we can read the nuclear secrets. See, is that it?
if we can zoom
I'm
in,
assuming
you know?
that's it. The FBI, I think, took this picture or allegedly took this picture.
So that is the secrets right there.
Yeah,
the
those
fate of
are-
the world
Those are the secrets.
is right by.
We
a
could
bunch
take
of
over the
cokes.
United States government just with this picture,
Could you?
right?
Wouldn't they sell that on the black market?
Yeah,
That's what all those spy movies are about.
right.
It's that little orange Christmas box there.
It almost looks like a liquor box, or is it flat?
I don't know. I can't see it.
Who cares?
Yeah, that's crazy. That was my picture. There was also one where they're saying Trump is like broke, which is just ridiculous because he owns like 50 towers.
Yeah,
and
right.
It's like broke billionaire. That's ridiculous. If you have 500 towers and like a TV show, and like billions and billions of dollars, it doesn't matter how much taxes you owe.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not broke.
No. It's like when they said Nicolas Cage was broke.
Right,
You
right.
know?
And he has like 12 castles.
Right. I've got 40 towers. 40
Yeah.
towers. They're all opulent. They're all wonderful. It's fantastic.
That's pretty good.
It's my best Trump.
You're really good at that. I can't do impressions. But you sound just like him.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You
So-
don't have as much money as him, but you sound like him.
No, I'm poor.
He could probably
I'm
sell.
poor.
He could probably sell one of his ties, and like, have more money than both of us combined.
Just from one tie?
Yeah, I bet. He has like shoes that were Shaq's. I've watched a video of him like going.
Wait. He has shoes that were Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, there's a video of him on YouTube just like going through his office, like before he was president in Trump Tower, and he just all this stuff that he had, and he has Shaq shoes, a bunch of random stuff.
Why does he have Shaq's shoes?
Why not? If you have $400 billion, I don't
Yeah.
know. He doesn't have that much. If you had like $3 billion,
Right.
then why not?
You just do whatever you want
That's
at that
right.
point.
That's
I'll buy a basketball player's shoes.
If I had $4
So
billion,
weird.
I would buy a 40 by 40 slab of granite and just put it in my front yard and be like, "Hey, city, whatever city I'm in, what are you going to do about this? You can't tow this away. What are you going to do? That'd be one of the things I would
just
do.
have a big piece of granite in your front
Yeah,
yard.
I'm not. I mean a gigantic slab. Have you ever seen videos of them mining granite?
No.
It's so satisfying. It comes out in just these huge chunks, and then they just break them up. But I would somehow find a way to not break them up and get the huge slab in my front yard.
To what end?
Just to do it, because you have $4 billion.
So why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
And the city has less money than you, so they can't
Right.
afford to tow
And
it
what are they
away.
going to do? They're
Oh,
going to
God.
get 400 dump trucks to try and pick it up? Or you can't pick up anything with a dump truck. Like a bunch of bulldozers to try and move it? See?
I don't know.
No, I know.
I'm poor.
It is a brilliant plan. What would you do with $4 billion?
It's never
Oh,
even
really?
occurred to me what I would do with that much money.
Yeah, that was a lot of radio silence. That's like that question floored you.
I
Not
can't
like what-
imagine being in that position.
Oh, you're no fun.
I would be so boring. I'd do a lot of boring stuff.
You wouldn't
know?
do something like a ridiculous thing. Because obviously we'd all buy a better house and we'd get a better car. And then we'd make sure our family was good and we'd give some away. Right. But what would you do that would be just ridiculous?
I'm sure something. things like that don't occur to me until I'm like in the moment, and I'm like, if I was a billionaire, I'd just, you know.
Well, you surprised me that you didn't even have an answer.
Really, I know, I'm a disappointment. That's what my dad said too.
I would buy like who makes bouncy balls. I would put in an order for 400,000 bouncy balls, and then get them shipped to like Danica Patrick while she's attempting to race. Just random something that you can just do. Just think of the most random things, and you could do it if you had $4 billion.
Yeah, like some Tom Cruise, a truckload of teddy bears.
Right,
or something.
that'd be so funny.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
That'd be entertaining.
Well, I veered wildly off the news, but
I like the idea of sending Danica Patrick 400,000 bouncy balls.
There's just a bunch of things you can do with that.
Fill her car with bouncy balls before she races.
I don't even think she races anymore.
I don't know anything about racing.
They go fast, but they don't go as fast as they used to because of Dale. If I didn't have my headphones on, I'd take my hat off out of respect. But they don't go as fast as they used to because of him.
Because of Dale Earnhardt?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they put on all kinds of like restrictors and stuff, and where the cars don't go as fast, and it's not as exciting as it used to be.
That's sad.
But yeah, it's the reason I know all this because my brother was real big in NASCAR. I'm not super big into it, but
well, I mean, they just go around in circles. It looks very hard. I'm not debating how difficult it is or how impressive it is, but it's
boring.
It's a circle over and over again.
It's skillful, but it's boring. I agree with you.
Right.
I agree.
Like it's obviously really hard and really difficult, but like it's boring to watch.
Yeah.
Like even the people I know who watch NASCAR, they're like, I'm always hoping for a crash.
Well, that's the exciting part.
That's like watching regular sports, but like waiting till somebody breaks their leg. That's what's going on.
Yeah. Or you could equal it. Whatever I'm trying to say. You could compare it. That's what I'm trying to say. You can compare it to like a fight in hockey, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could.
That's a little, less terrible than an injury. But I get what you're saying.
And I mean, everybody waits for fights in hockey too, but hockey's at least fun to watch on its own. I'd watch hockey without the fights.
Yeah, I would too. It's hard to see the puck though. Man, it's hard to see that thing, especially on TV. I can barely see it. I've been to 2 hockey games. But
that's good.
All right. Well, we started talking about hockey, and I was just telling you about my hockey experience. I'm not going to share anything with you anymore, you bully.
I'm sorry.
I bet you haven't been to any hockey games.
I've been to one.
Oh.
Been to a Preds game once with an ex-girlfriend.
Oh. I went to 2 Preds games. Not with ex-girlfriends.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's when I learned I enjoyed hockey. It was like actually going to a hockey game. I always thought it was boring to watch on TV, and then I went to a game, and now I effing love it.
Yeah, they're fun, dude. They all have chants, and they throw catfish on the ice, and sometimes there's a fight. And it's kind of like college basketball.
Is that like a real thing? If they take their gloves off before the ref gets over, like they can just like finish the fight? Is that a real thing? Somebody told me that was a real thing. It was a hockey fan that told me that was a real thing.
I don't know. I don't know the rules.
John, can you see if that's true? Look it up and see if that's true. I'm genuinely curious.
The way they sub is so bizarre. They
just hop on and off.
I know, it's
so
like
fast, no rules.
Yeah.
Open season.
Yeah.
Just do what you want.
And there's a thing with icing. Man, I still don't know what icing is. All my friends are trying to tell me what it was. I still don't know what it is, but there's that.
It's like offsides in soccer.
Yeah, but I think there's an offsides as well.
There is.
So what's the difference?
Maybe it's not like offsides in soccer. Then maybe I didn't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Wikipedia. What were we even looking up? I don't remember.
I wanted to find out if it's real that so I always heard if 2 hockey players fight, right? If they get their gloves off before the ref makes it over there to break up the fight, they can finish the fight out.
Oh, so the refs try to break up fights?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But supposedly if they get their gloves off first, then the ref has to let them finish.
What if you just don't wear any gloves? That would solve that problem.
No one doesn't wear gloves when they're playing hockey.
What if you want to fight? If you want to fight, just don't wear gloves.
Just go out there without gloves?
Yeah.
That would be stupid. You'd probably break a finger, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. They're so tough, dude. I would not mess with a hockey player.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have to remove their gloves to fight.
They could slap each other,
Well,
slap
that's
each
part
other
of
with their gloves.
From the way this reads, that's part of the NHL's rule book. Is you have to remove your gloves to fight.
Oh, okay. So they're allowed to fight.
Yeah, they have to fight bare knuckled.
But they have to fight without gloves on.
Yeah.
What a weird rule.
There's probably some.
Well, I mean, they have to drop their sticks as well. It's just you have to fight bare knuckled without any like additional tools.
Yeah. That just still seems odd to me that it's just they're okay with it.
Well, there's probably some kind of safety analytics study where they don't actually hurt each other.
Yeah, and they are penalized. They get I think 5 minutes in the box. They're just not ejected, like in most other sports.
Wow.
How awesome would it be if they dueled with their hockey sticks like lightsabers? That would be amazing.
Someone would die.
I would pay to watch that. And then they could start like painting them like lightsabers. It would just turn into Star Wars on ice.
Go to a Renaissance fair. They do that there. You'd love that.
I've been to the Renaissance Fair once.
They have jousting and...
It was during the last time the cicadas were around. It was 13 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a good time?
So you were there. You remember that?
Oh, we went together?
Yeah.
That's good. I like Renaissance fairs. I really don't like Renaissance fairs, actually. What's the point of them? I don't get it.
Well, to go and pretend like you're in the Middle Ages, even though it's called a Renaissance Fair. It should be called a middle-aged fair.
Right. Yeah.
I've never thought about that till just this moment. It should be called Middle Ages Fair because the Renaissance is after, and that's when they're in, painting, and they're in Belgium and Flanders and stuff, and they're starting to do stuff. The Middle Ages is when they're jousting and just being peasants, right? Isn't that what they say?
Sure. I don't know.
Okay.
You said it with so much confidence, I believed you.
Well, you brought it up.
Yeah, I did.
So, I know, just went with it.
Yeah. So the oceans are weird, right?
They are weird. Hey, and you know what? There was oceans in the Middle Ages.
There were oceans in the Middle Ages. That's true.
So I'll tie it into that.
Yeah.
The oceans are weird, man.
Yeah.
They're really weird.
I looked up some stuff about the oceans.
They're big.
They are big.
Or it's big. Is it they or is it it?
I don't know. People seem to delineate between all the oceans, but it's really just one gigantic body of water, right?
I guess. I mean, I've only ever been to the Atlantic and the Pacific. And I've seen all those pictures on the internet where it's like, oh, two oceans meet. It's two different colors. But I've never been there, so I don't know if that's real.
I feel like those photos have to be touched up somehow. For the, color change to be that drastic. I'm not debating whether or not it's there. I'm just saying I have my doubts that it's that drastic in real life.
I don't know. But the Pacific and the Atlantic, those are two oceans.
They are.
And then and there's the Indian.
Yeah.
And then there's the Arctic. And then sometimes it's the Southern Ocean. But sometimes it's just not. That one goes in and out if they count that as an ocean, I think. Did you find that in your research of the ocean?
It's like Pluto. It counts as a planet sometimes, but not others.
No, Pluto would kind of be like the Mediterranean Sea. No, it would be like, if you could see Neptune sometimes, but then sometimes you couldn't. That would be like the Southern Ocean. Right? That wasn't a great analogy either.
No, I still don't.
It's just depending on, I don't know. The Southern Ocean is or is not, depending on who you ask.
Like sometimes Y.
Yeah. You're right. That's a better one. Yeah, the Southern Ocean is like Y. It's a vowel or it's not. If vowels are oceans, the Southern Ocean is Y.
Okay.
We got there in the end.
I'm glad we figured that out. John, did you pull something up or do you have something to share?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Sorry, the screen changed. Have you seen all the UFOs going into the oceans?
Oh, they're called different when they're in the ocean, are they not?
Yeah, they're called USOs.
Yeah, I've seen those things, man. That's crazy.
What do you think the deal with that is?
I don't know. I mean, have we? But when I say we, I mean like humanity. Have we ever built anything that could be like a plane and a submarine at the same time?
Well, it depends on if you think these things are made by us or not.
Well, I mean officially, like nobody's going to fly an F-16 underwater,
right? Nor is anyone going to fly a submarine over.
That's right.
That's
right. Unless a bomb goes off and it flies out of the water.
But that was dark.
Well, I don't know. That was the first thing I thought of.
It was real
what's
dark.
What's the pin on this computer?
It's John. We're gonna have to bleep that out because that's our password.
That's right. We're gonna get fished, John. We're gonna get fished. But you know what? Fish are in the ocean. How many fish do you think are in there? How many fish?
It's saying that's incorrect.
Did you put an exclamation mark? Yeah. So we were talking about fish. Fish.
We were talking about the oceans and how stuff can't fly above the oceans and fly underneath because we're too retarded to make anything that does both. And then John turned off the freaking computer, and now I'm sad and frustrated.
Yeah, but we've got stuff that can be cars and boats.
Right.
And I think there's submarines and boats, but there's no flying cars, and there's no flying boats, and there's no flying submarines.
Yeah.
Right?
They're planes that they don't go under the ocean, but they do float.
No, you're right. There are planes that land on the water,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like a boat.
Right.
Yeah, they have those in like Alaska and stuff.
Yeah.
Like pontoon planes.
Right. That's a good name for it.
Yeah, how awesome would it be to have one of those?
If they don't call them that, they should.
You think you could buy one of those for like $20,000? Would you trust it?
20 grand?
I don't know, like a cheap used one from the 80s?
I would not trust that, no.
That would be so cool just to be able to land, just to fly to the lake. That would be amazing.
That seemed like a great way to get killed.
Well, you and I have different ideas of fun then.
Yours is getting killed?
How many people do you think fly on those and don't get killed? A lot more than do. Right? You can't argue with that. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist.
Okay.
So, you're always taking a risk. So, might as well just risk it for the biscuit.
No.
Well, okay.
That's like me saying, here's I don't know, I don't have a good analogy, but that seems stupid.
All right, well, that was a good answer. That was a good rebuttal. That just seems stupid.
Ironclad logic. Yeah. Absolutely ironclad logic.
Yeah, the USOs in the ocean.
Yeah. Isn't it weird how speaking of US, isn't it weird how they've changed the acronym for UFOs?
Is it something different?
It's UAPs now.
Ooh, what does that stand for?
It stands for
unidentified, obviously.
Aerial phenomenon or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But they like admitted UFOs are real, right?
Yeah, whatever government agency, FBI, CIA, QPR, I don't know. But they declassified some documents about UFOs a while back.
Yeah, and they had that alien in Mexico, but it was actually a cake. Did you see that?
Is that for real that it was actually a cake?
I think so. Have y'all seen that? They're like,
yeah.
Oh, this is a little baby looking alien.
Right.
That was so funny.
And then it was everybody on the internet was all like, "Hey, there's an alien in Mexico," and then 3 days later it was like, hold up, it's a cake.
Oh yeah, they're just messing with us, dude. They're just messing with us.
It's crazy.
What do you think USOs are?
USOs?
Yeah, or UFOs.
But I think they're probably the same thing because the UFOs and USOs seem to cross between water and air.
Oh, so you're
with
just
no
saying
issue.
You're saying it's the same. It's a flying saucer.
Yeah. The only difference seems to be the medium through which it's traveling. Right.
Yeah.
There are those videos that got released by the Pentagon of one of those pill,
Oh yeah, I've
things.
seen. I think I know what you're talking about. I've seen that
going in and out of the water.
That's wild, dude. What is is the Pentagon the FBI, or is it the CIA, or is it just
Pentagon's the military?
So it's just the Army or something.
Army, Navy, Air Force,
Right.
Space Force now, which sounds like a bad movie.
So the Pentagon is just the Army or the military.
Yeah.
So does the FBI have a building?
Yeah.
And do they talk to the
I
Pentagon?
don't know what building it is.
It's the J. Edgar Hoover building.
Right. And then which one's Langley?
That would be the CIA.
There we go.
Man, there's a lot of just people running around spending our money, aren't
All
they?
the 3-letter agencies, man.
So what's the DOA? Or the DEA? What is that?
That's something to do with drugs,
Drug
right?
Enforcement Agency,
Yeah.
And that doesn't have anything to do with the Pentagon?
It's not part of the
All right.
armed forces.
Just
so
forget I
not
said it.
really.
But you know what is part of the armed forces? The Coast Guard. And they patrol the oceans, which we're talking about. I've never seen the Coast Guard, so I don't. Do they really
That's because
exist?
you live in Tennessee. You're nowhere near the coast. Why would you have
But
ever
I've
seen
been
the
to
Coast
Florida.
Guard?
All right, I've been to Florida a lot.
Do you think they're just all over Florida
I
just
don't
because
know.
it
I
has
have
coastline?
never seen the Coast Guard. So in my mind, they may not exist. It may be a myth.
They're just fake.
The Coast Guard is a myth.
That's like if you lived in a town without a National Guard installment, and you're like, oh, they must not be around.
Well, the National
know?
Guard is literally like 2 minutes from this very spot. So
It is, but that's exactly my point. Somebody who lives the next town over might be like, oh, well, they must not exist because they've never seen it.
Yeah, no, I know the Coast Guard exists. It's just funny because who thinks they're part of the Army? That's kind of ridiculous. Does the Coast Guard have
that's
guns?
mean.
Do they have guns?
I would imagine so.
But you don't know, do they?
I don't know.
Does the Coast Guard have like an F-16?
I don't know.
Does the Coast Guard have Navy SEALs?
Well, obviously not. That's the Navy.
Well, but the Army's got Green Berets, or Green Berets, however you say it. So does the Coast Guard have like an elite Coast Guard guys?
Green Berets are the Air Force.
No, they're not.
Aren't they?
No, it's the
I'm
Army.
pretty sure.
They're the Army.
They're the Army?
Yes.
What's the Air Force version then? I
I
thought the Army was the Army Rangers.
Maverick and Goose is the Air Force version, is it not?
And then I thought the Green Berets were the Air Force.
No, you're wrong. The Green Berets are Army.
We're gonna find out. I am dialed into figuring this out. That's gonna bother me.
Pararescue. I can't read that dang TV, dude. We're gonna have to make that bigger.
John's scrolling around like a crazy person. Make sure what branch the Green Berets are from, John.
I mean, they're from the
Army,
from
dude.
the
Yeah, but it'll make me feel better if I see it on the computer.
If you see that you're wrong.
like 2 episodes ago. We played a song about the Army Green Berets.
Oh, that was your song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
good
song.
point, John. Yeah, the Kandahar Giants. You made us listen to that.
You didn't like it?
It was all right. Honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Ouch.
So, well, you know,
I'm not offended. I didn't write the song.
All right, what were we doing?
We're talking about UFOs and UAPs.
Yeah.
And
Are we ever going to get to the point about UFOs? Keep getting distracted.
I just think they're wild.
They are
And
wild.
It seems like our government has a ton of information on them that they just don't share.
Yeah. Area 51,
Yeah.
Roswell.
Right.
What are some other ones? That's the two I can think of.
And there were those people who came forward about Area 51, like Bob Lazar, and that was super interesting.
yeah.
Talking about how they like have, all these like gravity propulsion systems type.
Oh
things.
yeah, dude, yeah.
And I mean
That's some wild stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of propulsion systems, supposedly, I don't know if this was
Spit it out.
an April Fool's joke or not, but it seems like the United States Navy is about to outfit the first submarine ever with a what's it called? Magnetohydrodynamic drive.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like something out of Avengers.
Yeah.
What does that do?
It's called I think it was from a movie or like a book by Tom
Avengers?
Clancy.
Oh.
From a book by Tom Clancy that he wrote like 30, 40, 50 years ago, something like that, called Hunt for the Red October.
Yeah,
and it's
everybody's seen that movie.
yeah, great movie. It's called the Caterpillar Drive in there, and it like functions as basically an engine without any moving bits, since water is electronegative, right? One end's negative and one end's positive of the water molecule. It uses
Well, don't
magnetic charge as
Don't
a
they say
jet engine.
it's covalent and it's just barely? Because ionic is when it's real like that, but covalent is when it's not too much like that, right?
Water's hydrogen bonds.
Yeah, but isn't that covalent?
I don't remember,
I think it is.
but
I don't know. Well,
supposedly,
that's interesting, man.
yeah, it's like a jet engine for the water without any moving parts.
And they coming out with that? The Navy said they were?
Supposedly they're outfitting the first submarine. I think John double check me on this, but supposedly they're outfitting the first submarine ever with it this year.
Or are they going to get Alec Baldwin? He's kind of fallen from grace. They're going to get Alec Baldwin on there to do it?
He might accidentally shoot somebody. You
Yeah.
gotta be careful.
Well, they can prop Sean Connery's corpse up there. It wouldn't bother him if they shot him.
Is he dead?
He is dead.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, he was old, man.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
pretty sure
depressing.
I'm almost 100% sure he's dead. He was
Bunny Penny.
he was great. That's a great movie.
That is a good movie.
That's crazy that it existed in the 80s and now it's real now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it didn't exist in the 80s.
Well, allegedly.
It didn't allegedly exist in the 80s.
Well, what if it did? On the Hunt for the Red October.
That was a book of fiction.
Was it? That's the point I'm making. How did he know about it? Maybe it was real and he just wrote about it.
Well, it had
and
been
then-
proposed for a long time.
So you're saying Tom Clancy invented that?
No. Not even a little bit.
Well, I don't know what you're saying then.
People had been working on something like that for a long time, just nobody had been able to figure it out.
Just somebody did.
Right.
But Tom Clancy thought of it first.
No.
So where does he come into
He heard of the idea and wrote about it, and that's what popularized it with the public.
Okay. So the Navy got it from him?
No.
Oh, well, then why? I don't know why we're talking about him then. What does he have to do with it?
The reason all of us know what it is because
Okay.
he made it popular.
Well,
Okay?
I'm
Do you
just
understand now?
trying to keep him relevant. You keep popping him down. But man, he's got a lot of good movies.
What other movies has he done?
Oh, dude, what's the one Harrison Ford's in? Shoot. Daggone. It's a sequel, dude. What's the freaking sequel to that?
Hunt for the Red October?
Yeah, there's like 3
Red Dawn?
No. I'll
There are Russians in that.
think of it at 3 in the morning. It's the one he took over. Harrison Ford took over. It's America something?
Air Force One?
No. John, look up movies Harrison Ford's been in. I'll see it. If I can read this dang tiny TV here. He was in 2 of them, wasn't he? Look at Harrison Ford movie Tom Clancy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you'll. Clear and Present Danger. Yeah, that's one of them. But the really famous one.
Jack Ryan.
Yeah, Patriot Games. That's what I was thinking. Patriot Games is the famous one.
Never seen any of those.
Yeah. He took over Alec Baldwin as Jack Ryan for 2 movies. And Patriot Games is what I was trying to think of. Those are all good movies. I haven't seen them since I was in like middle school. But
I love a good movie.
yeah,
Love a good action movie.
we need to add those to our list.
Yeah.
We have a big list of movies. Yeah. So that's cool. Oceans. The Navy.
Yeah.
The submarines.
I mean, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I wonder how many billions they spent on that.
Imagine a magnetic jet engine that doesn't move.
Yeah, I can imagine that it cost a lot of billions.
Yeah.
How many billions? Did you say how many billions?
No. Who's going to disclose that information? That's people's tax money. They don't want you to know how they're spending your money.
Oh my goodness, dude. They spent. I wrote this down because I said I was going to do it in one of the previous episodes. So in 2024, the deficit was $348 billion. Okay. So that's like
That's just the deficit for the year.
right.
Holy-
Right. That's not even the national debt, which is like impossible to even comprehend.
Yeah.
So to make it easier, that's $95 million a day. That's $3.9 million an hour, $66,210 a minute, and $1,103 every second they're spending.
That this whole country's going into debt.
Right.
Not even that they're spending, because they're spending more than that.
Right. Well, that's a good going farther in the hole. That's so wild. I mean, think about how much good $1,103.50 would do you if you got it right now.
If I got it every second, I'd
Right,
poop my pants.
right. Just imagine, there it is,
Yeah.
there. I mean, you make more than you do a year in a minute. That's so crazy. And
Oh, yeah,
they're
that's a fair
spending
point.
that on magnetic, whatever they're putting in there, just to fight whoever we're gonna fight next.
Yeah, but what a cool thing.
Sure, it's cool, but how does that help me? You know?
That's so selfish.
Well, I mean, with rent going up and all the other things I got to pay for, I mean, I don't care
That sounded so sketchy. It sounds like you're operating a meth lab in your
Oh, well,
basement.
maybe I am. Maybe that's how I'm paying for life. Maybe I'm Walter White. You know, I don't care that they got a magnet. I mean, it's cool, but why can't they just, not include me in it?
Okay, fair enough. Sorry I brought it up.
Yeah, I'd rather just go to the beach.
I mean, the beach is nice.
It is.
Speaking of the beach, there's a Stonehenge under Lake Michigan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never heard of that. Is it in America or is it? No, Lake Michigan's all in America.
Yeah.
Is it on Wisconsin side? Is it on Michigan side?
Are you just trying to dazzle me with your command of geography?
I am, because whoa.
I don't know, but that's it right there.
Dude.
Yeah.
Whoa, hey, go back to that. That is wild.
Yeah, it's like a ring
No,
of
John, go back to that ring.
obviously, placed stones at the
Dude.
bottom of Lake Michigan. Yeah.
How do they get that image? Is that like sonar or something?
I mean, I think that's just from a underwater vessel.
It's
of
a
some
sonar
kind.
image.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Wow. So
Keep scrolling, John. I think there's another picture somewhere. Oh, never mind. All right.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Why is there an elephant on it? Is that what that's for?
Yeah.
So some Indians put it down there? Or does that imply that the lake was not there at once? I guess that's what it would imply. The Indians couldn't drop all those rocks down there. So the lake used to not be there?
That's the big question, right? Is how in the world did it get there? But, like, it's just a bunch of stones arranged in kind of a circle. And
That bottom limb looking there. Yeah, that one. That kind of looks like it could be arranged in a circle for sure.
Curious that it's at the bottom of a freaking lake.
Yeah. What is that? Is that circle like that Zelda looking thing in the middle? That's just part of the sonar, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's part of the sonar.
It's still pretty wild.
It's like it almost reminds me of like the blind spot in your eye,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It looks like an eye. It looks like a tourist field.
Right.
It's pretty wild.
So yeah, I thought that was weird.
Yeah. That's not really in the ocean, but it's kind of like the ocean. I've been to Lake Michigan once. It looks like the ocean.
Oh, the Great Lakes do, man. They look so big.
Yeah, and the ocean is even bigger than that.
Right.
You think there's a what? That's just a true statement. The ocean is bigger than
Thanks for letting us know.
All right. Sometimes you got to say obvious things.
See, there's a photo of it right there.
Oh, that looks a lot better. John needs to show that.
Let me send John this article.
So how far down deep is that? There's a guy right there. Is that not a guy right by it?
I don't think that's a guy, buddy. I'm pretty sure that's like a little vessel.
Oh yeah, it's like a little robot submarine.
I'm sending you this link, John, for you to see. Oh no, I just copied and pasted the word Michigan.
Look at this high quality projection. We're gonna get fished. Oh my goodness! Look at all this information.
It is not currently on the screen.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, we don't have people seeing our business email.
I'm just worried about getting fished.
Knowing
Y'all do not take that seriously.
Our goings on.
Yeah.
We should playing it fast and loose with our data.
I know. We'll know if you get an email that's spelled wrong.
Right.
That's how you know.
I'm pretty sure my passwords got hacked to everything. So I've started getting all these notifications on my computer that say, hey, that password was part of a data breach. I'm like, oh, great.
Dude, that happens every 5 months. So, you got a data breach, send us some money or something. It's a bunch of nonsense.
See, there it is.
Yeah, that almost looks like weird fries from McDonald's. Look, those are so skinny.
Those look like chicken fries.
Yeah.
That's chicken fries.
They're so skinny. It's cool though. All right. So we've looked at that.
All right.
Who put the elephant on there?
Yeah, what's the deal with that? Is that just like a random picture they threw in there? Supposedly it's a carving of a mastodon. Dr. Holly displays the rock that some people believe has a carving of a mastodon. It has not yet been verified by any scientist that this is a rock carving of the long extinct animal.
Oh, well then it's not. If a scientist hasn't verified it, then Dr. Holly doesn't know anything. So, what is a mastodon anyway? Is that just an old elephant?
It's like an elephant that had a body hair problem.
I thought that was a mammoth.
Oh yeah. I don't know what a mastodon is. I'm thinking of a mammoth. 100%.
Oh, maybe it's just like a scientific name for a mammoth to make you sound smart. Oh, it's a software too. Look at that logo.
John, you're looking at Mastodon Social Network.
I'm fixing to lose it.
All right, this is useless.
Yeah,
All right,
yep.
So, have you ever looked into the Antikythera?
Oh yeah, dude. That's Indiana Jones was about it. The new one was about that.
Well, I'm not talking about Indiana Jones. I'm talking about the actual thing.
Well, I know about it because Indiana Jones. Right, Archimedes made it.
Supposedly, I don't think they know who made it.
I only know about it from Indiana.
They
Jones.
said that in Indiana Jones. I don't know if they know who made it.
It was like a time. Was it time traveler or was it just like a clock
in the Indiana Jones movies?
Well, in real life, I know what it was in Indiana Jones.
In real life, it's like described as the earliest form of an analog computer.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's interesting. So what does that even mean?
They don't know. It seems they think it was used to keep some kind of records of something or to predict something, but people don't seem to have any clue what it actually was for. That's just people's best guess as to its where. I mean, the thing's old as old as all get out.
And they found this thing
off the coast of Greece or something,
in the ocean, in a boat or something,
right?
Like they did in Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Everything goes back to that for you, doesn't it?
That's my context for the Antikythera. Boy, that's another hard one. How do you say it?
Antikythera.
Antikythera. So, is it just in a museum? Or just people look at it and occasionally try to decide what it was every now and then?
I assume there was extensive study on it when it came out. I don't know if people are still actively working on it or if it does sit in a museum.
If they just gave up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's cool. I wonder if it was part of Atlantis.
Do you think Atlantis was real?
I don't know. Maybe. Plato wrote about it, right? Everybody.
He did, but the big question was what he was writing about, was that fiction or was he describing a real place? Because what I've read of it sounds like a Greek tale about the gods on Mount Olympus, right? That we would take now as fiction.
Well, yeah, but is that fiction? What makes it fiction? Just because everybody says it is?
I've never been to Mount Olympus. I don't know that it's
there's a Mount Olympus in Greece that's like 9,000 feet tall, but is that the Mount Olympus of antiquity? I mean, who knows?
Okay.
But my point is, the point I want to make is, well, we take Plato seriously for everything else, and like Socrates, we think his death is real, of him drinking the poison and all that. But suddenly when he writes about Atlantis, it's just some myth. Seems a little illogical to me if we love Plato and Socrates and Aristotle so much that's the one thing that was just a bunch of gobbledygook.
I see your point. I guess the bits I've read in reference to Atlantis, they reminded me almost of some of the stories from the Odyssey and the Iliad, more than they did an actual biographical account of something that would have been written at the time.
Well, everybody thinks Atlantis sank into the ocean. Maybe Disney has something to do with that from that great movie. But there's a Atlantis in Africa. John, look up that Atlantis in Africa eye. Like, Google that. It might show up. There's like this place in Africa that's a big old looking like eye. And some people think that was Atlantis.
That wouldn't have sunk into the ocean, though.
I just said that. I'm saying it might not be in the ocean. It might be in Africa. There we go.
Interesting.
The Eye of the Sahara. That's it.
People think that was Atlantis?
Yeah, potentially.
Why?
I don't know, but whatever it is, it's weird.
I mean, it is freaky. Those big geographical features that you can see from so far away are wild.
Yeah, and some people think it was in Florida.
Florida?
Yeah.
Nothing good comes out of Florida. What are you talking about?
Well, hey, Florida has... Did you know Florida has caves and, like, springs and stuff?
I feel like everywhere has caves. Everywhere I go, people are like, have you been to the caves?
I think... I've looked this up. I think Delaware and Louisiana are the only states that don't have caves.
There you go. Everywhere here in the States has caves.
I could be wrong, but I think that's right.
Yeah. That would make sense.
But when you think of caves, you don't think of Florida. You think of, like a mountain. Or you think of like Kentucky or Tennessee.
I mean, I do think of like swamps and the beach when I think about Florida and insane people.
Yeah, but not caves.
Opioids. I think of opioids.
Dude, caves in the ocean, that's creepy.
What I find creepy are the oceans under the ocean.
Oh, I was hoping we were going to talk about that. That is so wild. It's on the BBC. You can look up a BBC video of them like approaching. And it's just like, and there's like a little worm that goes in it.
Yeah.
It's in SpongeBob too.
It's like more dense water underwater.
Yeah, and the guy I was talking about, he's just like, we bounced off of it. We couldn't go in there.
Yeah.
It's so creepy. What do you think that is?
I don't know. It's that weird moment where you're looking at a submarine that's obviously deep underwater,
right?
But that looks like appears like they're looking at a lake.
Right. He's coming upon a lake
while he's under the ocean.
Right. John, it's a BBC thing. If you're trying to pull it up, just type in BBC.
Like, it's crazy.
No, type in British Broadcasting Corporation.
Some of the most ridiculous footage ever.
Yeah, it's so crazy, dude. And what's weird to me, or among many things, but they say like the Challenger Deep and the Mariana Trench is the deepest part of the ocean. Well, why isn't there one of those things down there? Like, why doesn't that thing, whatever that thing is, why doesn't that flow to the Mariana Trench? Right? Is it just in some kind of isolated little like dump, like little depression? Like you think there'd
Right.
be one of those at the deepest point.
Yeah.
I guess that's my point. Is what's under that thing? Does it go deeper in the Mariana Trench?
That's a fair question.
And
Who
can
knows?
they get anything down there? A little worm went down there. I've seen the alien. I mean the alien. I've seen the there was an alien on the screen. I've seen the little worm, the video.
Yeah.
So if that can go in there, can we not make something that can go down in there?
I don't know. I don't know
Well,
anything about
I
submarine
guess I'm
travel.
posing that question to all of humanity. We need to do better. We need to get down in that little lake under the
We got to get down
ocean.
in the under ocean.
Yeah. The sub-ocean.
Right.
What should we call it?
I like the idea of the under ocean.
Yeah, the under ocean's better than sub-ocean.
Yeah. Sub-ocean sounds like a weird foreign name. Hi, I'm Sub-ocean.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm sub-ocean Pentecostal.
Pentecostal doesn't sound like a last name.
I tried to make it.
No.
Jones does. Sub-ocean Pentecostal Jones. That sounds like a good.
Sub-ocean. No,
You can't even say it.
Sub-ocean Jones. That's a
It's like Osmosis
That's a name.
Jones.
great movie.
That is a good movie.
Yeah. My ex-girlfriend made me watch it for the first time.
Why do you keep bringing her up? That's twice you brought that up.
It's the only thing I have to say about Osmosis Jones. That's the only thing I have to share about that movie.
What was his sidekick? He had a purple sidekick.
I
didn't he?
don't remember.
He's kind of fat.
Have you ever heard of the blobfish?
Uh-uh.
It's ugly.
It's a blob.
There's a fish legitimately called the blobfish. John, get us a picture of the blobfish. The blob, it's the ugliest fish I've ever seen.
I've seen some pretty ugly fish. Ooh, man, that's
Yeah.
pretty ugly. It looks like some kind of like,
That looks like a cartoon of itself.
oh my gosh, dude, look at its nose.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so weird.
Such an ugly thing.
I've never heard of this. Where's that? Is that in like a deep ocean?
I don't remember. I saw a picture of it, and I was like, wow, that's ugly. I want to tell Murph about it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it or seen it. They've
Yeah.
got like fish that can like light up.
Bioluminescent fish.
Yeah, they've got. Oh man, there was this weird looking shark, dude. There's like this creepy, deep water shark. I can't remember what it's called. Maybe like it's not a fish shark. That's dumb.
Fish shark.
It's something like that. It'd probably be too hard to Google without knowing what it's called. But it's a weird looking deep water shark, and it is creepy, man. John, you should Google shark in a submarine, see if it comes up, or like in deep water submarine. But there's all kinds of crazy stuff in the deep ocean. Like they say, we've only explored like 2% of it, right? Even
Yeah.
officially.
Right.
And like they didn't think the giant squid was real till like till recently. Like it was just a myth, and then they discovered it recently.
That makes you wonder about a lot of those stories of the Kraken from back in
Yeah,
the
dude.
day.
The Leviathan in the Bible.
Yeah. That
Right?
too.
The sea monster.
Yeah.
And all they say the Kraken would come up and grab ships, you know.
Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah, dude. I think it was that. It had weird looking eyes. I remember it had just weird looking eyes.
The giant squid they found?
No, this weird shark. It was like this creepy shark with weird eyes. But
Let's see it.
it had like human eyes. Yes, that's it. Dude, you see
Oh,
that
that's
thing?
terrifying.
Did you see that thing's eyes?
Yeah.
How?
How are you that close to something that big? Oh my goodness.
Oh man, those eyes creep me out. And octopuses are creepy too, man. The big ones have like beaks.
Yeah. No, octopuses and octopi and squid scare me to death.
Yeah, squid's good to eat. Squid tastes so good.
Calamari.
Yeah,
Calamari's good.
it's really good.
I don't like the calamari that I can see it's like a little baby squid. I don't like that.
That doesn't bother me that much. I mean, I'm still just gonna eat it and it's gonna taste good.
It'd be like for me it's like if I ordered like a steak and you brought it out to me in the shape of a cow. Like I like steak, but I'm not trying to,
I get like a cookie cutter in the shape of a cow
Right.
and like cut the steak.
yeah, like
and
don't do that to me.
That would be funny.
That would be fine if you molded it into the actual shape of a living cow. I'd be freaked out.
Like 3D cow.
Right. Yeah.
All right. I'll try to do that for your birthday,
Why?
just to mess with you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't get that image of that shark's eye out of my brain. It's disturbing.
Well, I mean, how intelligent do you think some of these animals are?
They say octopus can remember stuff and like go through mazes and recognize people, and I mean I don't know how they know all that, but there's no telling. And dolphins are super smart, dude.
Supposedly.
They like help people. They like save people from sharks and stuff.
All right.
So I don't know. It's just there's so much mysteriousness in the ocean. We don't know how far down it goes, and I know they say the Mariana Trench is the
There's a
deepest.
claim that they tested Mariana's Trench, and it was 36,000 feet
Yeah.
deep.
You know how tall Mount Everest is?
Yeah.
29,000.
Yeah. Right.
That's like way taller than Mount Everest.
right.
That's so crazy. James Cameron's been down there, allegedly.
Really?
Yeah. You know, the guy that made Avatar and Titanic?
Yeah. What do you think he was doing down there?
Oh, no telling. No telling. It's like two guys in the 1960s and then James Cameron. So, I mean, it's a little fishy to me. I don't believe anything anymore, y'all. But he's been down there, they say. I'm surprised he didn't take DiCaprio with him.
They are besties.
Yeah, they're buds.
Obviously.
I don't know. It's so deep. It's like pardon my pun. It's unfathomably deep.
That's a terrible pun. Wow.
I thought it was funny. Yeah, and then there's the end of the ocean, too. Does the ocean end?
I don't know. Do you think it does? Somewhere?
I don't know. It does in the Chronicles of Narnia. Reepicheep goes over it.
Those are great books.
Yeah, it gets shallow, it gets still, it gets sweet water, and then there's a little hump, and he just goes into God's country. Those are The Voyage of the Dawn Treader is what I'm referring to. It's such a good one.
Yep. It is. It's a good book. That's my favorite Chronicles of Narnia book.
Mine too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whirlpools, they're bizarre.
I looked up a few before we did this, and they're terrifying.
Yeah. It's a terrible move when you're playing Pokemon, but in real life, I bet it's a sight to behold. Where's the nearest whirlpool?
I don't know. There's one in Scotland that's supposed to be like the most powerful one in the world, supposedly. Consistently powerful one in the world. I found that out today.
So is it like always there?
That's what they say. Most of them aren't always there.
Yeah.
This one, the claim is that due to the nature of the underwater terrain, as well as the currents that are coming in and out, that the whirlpool is always going on.
That would be so scary to get caught in a whirlpool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it like it is in the movies? Is there like an actual depression in the water?
You
Or
know, I tried to find a ton of footage on whirlpools, like live, obviously not faked footage. And most of the footage I could find wasn't that epic, you know? Not like in the movies.
Yeah, it just kind of looks like a bunch of bubbling stuff.
Right. I'm sure it's, and I would imagine it's more, it would make more of an impression on you if you're there. You know, a lot of stuff doesn't translate on camera that way, you know? But at least what I could find wasn't that dramatic. You know? You might see a little bit of rotation, but nothing crazy.
Yeah. But, old Mercator, he claimed there was a big whirlpool at the North Pole. Do you know that?
I did not know
Where
that.
all of the oceans go into.
Interesting.
He called it the Earth's navel.
What a gross thought.
And he was like, it was so violent that if you get anywhere near it, you're dead.
Oh my gosh.
So that's pretty terrifying to think about.
That is terrifying. From what I read, one of the bigger dangers from these whirlpools, when you and I think of like, oh my gosh, if you're near a whirlpool, that's bad because you're going to get sucked in, right? From what I was reading, the biggest danger in most of these areas are the waves they generate. Like one of them was talking about in this relatively small bay in Scotland, you know, you might get 15-foot waves on a calm day just from the whirlpool activity.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
15 feet's no joke.
No, that's massive.
Yeah. Dude, do you know what the biggest, like the wave that hit... Oh, that's another thing, dude. Tsunamis, man. Tsunamis are freaky. The 2004 one, The big one in like Indonesia and all that, and
Yeah.
Thailand and all that.
Right.
That one was like, I think it wasn't even 100 feet tall. It was like 80 feet tall or something. Which is still, that's still insane, dude.
Outrageous.
Dude,
Yeah.
but I'm building up. The one in Japan in like 2011 was like 100 feet tall. And that's like the biggest tsunamis caused by earthquakes. But there was one in Alaska. This just gives me chills thinking about it. And I think it was 1958 maybe. In like Lituya Bay. I can't say any of these words, y'all. Lituya. But anyway, it was a bay in Alaska. There was a tsunami that was over 1,000 feet tall from a landslide.
That's recorded?
Yeah.
1,000 feet
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
tall.
it's 1958. It started with an L. I can't say.
Yeah, in Lituya Bay, you're right.
Oh, yes. Look at me pronouncing things.
so-
1,700 feet.
Yeah.
They could tell by the trees it destroyed. Is that not insane, man? Can you imagine how terrifying that would be?
Oh my gosh! So go back up, John. The 1958 tsunami wave at Lituya Bay in Alaska reached a maximum height of 1,720 feet, making it the tallest tsunami wave ever recorded. Good heavens!
That is as tall. That's pretty much as tall as the new World Trade Center they built in New York City.
It says it was triggered by 30.6 million cubic meters of rock that fell into the bay from a landslide.
Yeah. Now, I've been in New York City, and that building's tall. Imagine water that tall coming at you. I would die of fright.
Me too.
That's wild. Oh, that's scary.
How is Alaska still standing from that?
Well, 'cause it's in a narrow bay, right? Like all the Aleutian Islands and stuff is real narrow, and one, it'll spread out real fast once it gets into the main ocean.
Right.
But if it's in, from a bay,
It's right there on top.
There's only one way for it to go.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
unfortunate, but it's true.
Here's like an overview of kind of how Lituya Bay looks.
Oh,
How
okay.
it like goes in.
Dude,
so-
that would be
Wow.
so scary. That's a really pretty place, though. I would love to go to Alaska.
That's crazy.
Maybe not.
That's
there.
gorgeous.
Maybe not to that particular place.
Well, I mean, what are the odds that it happens
Well, that's
again,
true. That's
you
probably
know?
the safest place.
Yeah.
Because it's already happened once.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah. It's like if you... Never mind. I can't finish that thought.
Well, you can't do that. Now you got to share.
It's like if you don't want...
Well,
Okay.
don't get us demonetized.
It's like if you...
We got to reimburse ourselves for all this equipment.
I've already got to edit this episode. If you don't want your kids to get shot, you don't take them to the school that hasn't had the school shooting. You take them to the one that already did.
Okay. I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
See?
As long as you don't mention any specifics, I think you should be okay. There's the one, the one in Florida, the one in Texas. You
Right.
can go to those.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You just go there.
The one in Colorado.
Yeah, because it's what are the odds it happens there again? you know?
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Dude. That's a good analogy.
Should I feel bad about having said that?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah. Not to
Probably.
take away from those people's pain, but
Of course.
that seems. Oh my gosh!
Whoa, that's gonna.
Sorry, I got excited. Have you heard of the the bloop?
Is that different than the blobfish?
Yes, it's not a fish. It's a sound. It's a sound.
Well, we got to play the sound.
Yeah, John, look up the bloop, and it's spelled like it sounds. Bloop. B-L-O-O-P.
Where's it from?
Scientists, a while back, picked up some kind of unidentified, extraordinarily loud sound. There's the bloop, and then there's one called Julia, and
Oh.
they picked it up on sonar. Let's hear it, John. That was the bloop.
Dude, it sounds like somebody dropping a huge turd.
There are whole articles on this. It was thought that it was that sound, whatever it was, came from some kind of source that was louder than anything else in the ocean, because supposedly it was obvious that it came from so far away that nothing else could have. Such an odd thing. That just sounds like, like a bubble popping up from my bathtub to me.
I think it sounds like poo-poo in the toilet, but
That's what it sounds like to me too. But there are like articles on this.
now, is that in Antarctica? Where'd they find this thing? Is that why there's Antarctica on the picture?
So it says in 1997, researchers listening for underwater volcanic activity in the southern Pacific recorded a strange, powerful, and extremely loud sound. They were using hydrophones that were placed more than 3,000 kilometers across the Pacific and recorded numerous instances of the noise. It was NOAA, NOAA, agency that discovered it.
Yeah, they monitor the north and the south.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, look up Julia real quick, John. Look up the Julia sound. Because that's similar, but I think it's a little bit more impressive. I don't know what word to use there, but it sounds less like, like you dropped a rock in a lake. Yeah.
Iceberg grounding on the seafloor. And then font that's too little for me to read.
Dude, just head to YouTube. There are plenty of videos of it.
What?
You have muted it.
It's muted on
I know,
the
I'm going to it.
Any day now.
Go back to the beginning of the video, John.
That sounds like a whale.
You started like in the middle.
Sounds like a whale to me.
Beginning of this video is just a text scroll.
Yeah. Yeah, but I want to hear where the sound cuts it.
Well, see where everybody's been playing it? It's probably where it peaks
It's
up.
where I went to.
Yeah, this is where he went to, but I want to hear where the sound cuts it.
Well, we're watching it again, boys. Does it not sound like a whale?
It does to me too, yeah.
I thought the bloop was weirder.
Me too. I must have heard a sped up version of this.
It just sounded like a whale going.
Yeah, maybe if you speed it up, it sounds like Julia. Maybe that's what it is.
Who's Julia?
I don't know.
Is this person's wife who was listening to this? She just made her famous.
Maybe. I don't know. That's interesting, though. What do you think's making these noises?
Well, that one I think could be a whale, but I don't know. The bloop's a lot weirder.
Yeah, that's really
and
weird.
Given that it's in the South Pacific, close to Antarctica, I mean, there's so much mystery in Antarctica. Mysterious is not a noun. There's so much mystery in Antarctica that there's no telling, dude. I mean, there's pyramids down there. There's, all those bases down there where everybody gets along down there. Buzz Aldrin goes down there. They're hearing bloops underwater down there.
Buzz Aldrin goes down there?
Yeah, he had like a heart attack in Antarctica.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, John Kerry went down there. Everybody loves it down there, apparently.
That's a great vacation destination, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know.
You're making it
What do you
sound
think's
like-
making it?
It sounded like a freaking whale to me. At least the Julia one did. The other one just sounded like a big bubble or something.
Well, was it?
Dropped a massive turd.
What was it? Like a gas coming up from the seafloor or
Yeah.
something, or was it an iceberg breaking and then they heard it weird splashing?
Right. The only weird thing is they supposedly recorded it in a bunch of different locations across like 3,000 miles of detection equipment,
So why is that weird?
Well, because who's going to hear a sound like that across 3,000 miles?
Does the sound not travel through the water?
Well, it would
Like a
dissipate if
wave?
it were a normal. If it were at a normal volume.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It would like attenuate
Yeah.
the farther and
It would be
farther I
like
got.
if I could, you're suggesting that
Oh.
if I talk here, you're going to hear me 3,000
No,
miles
see,
away.
all right. So by that logic, then it must have been so loud at its source
Yeah.
that it would have been like unbelievable.
Right.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
So what could be so loud? What could make something that was that loud?
That's the big question.
Ooh, that got a lot more mysterious.
Yeah.
Guess it ain't no
Yeah.
iceberg.
Right. That's why these sounds are talked about the way they are. Is because they were recorded in several different places, not close to one another.
So was that other one that Julia was that the same?
Yeah, similar.
So that's no whale unless
Right.
it's like a 4,000-foot whale.
Right. Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Interesting. I'd never heard of either of those things.
Yeah. Pretty
The
insane.
ocean. It is crazy place. Crazy place.
That's why I don't like going in like deep water. I
Why?
don't like it.
Julia's gonna get you.
She might. I'm scared.
I'd be scared of that blobfish.
That thing's ugly.
Yeah, or that creepy shark.
Yeah. No, you just can't, like you can't, obviously you can't swim as fast as you can, like you can't move around, And so if something happens, you're kind of screwed, if you're in the water.
Yeah, but what if you're in like the middle of nowhere? Like I've seen videos of people like on sailboats and they'll just jump out in the middle of the ocean to cool off.
Those guys have way more balls than I will ever have. If I'm in a sailboat in the middle of the ocean, I'm hanging on to that thing for dear life until I make it
But
back
what's
to
around
land.
there? There's nothing around there. It's in the middle of nowhere. You're like 1,000 miles from everything or more than that.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure,
Why would there be a fish there?
I don't know.
There's nothing to eat there, right?
I don't know.
It's just a bunch of water.
So you're saying there aren't like sharks there?
I mean, they may be like if they're following through some current going somewhere else, but
I'm
I
not
bet-
trying to risk that.
I bet there's way more fish and shark and stuff closer to the land than out in the middle of nowhere, right?
I mean, that would make sense. What you're saying makes sense. But just the knowledge that there could be
So
one
I'm
there.
saying if you're gonna jump out and swim in the ocean, wouldn't it be better to jump in something that's like 15,000 feet deep?
Are you suggesting that that's a better option than
Yeah, it'd be
coastal Florida?
right. Assuming
that's a
similar
thought.
weather conditions.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
know. That doesn't bother me, I'd like, we go swimming in 60 feet deep water all the time, every year, actually. It's just
In a
water.
lake, though, that's much different.
I'd do it in the ocean.
I'd wet myself in the ocean. Not that you'd be able to tell, but I
You have
would.
to think about also in the ocean, you have no sense of direction.
Well, you do if you can see the land.
Yeah, well, you can't see the land out in the middle of the ocean.
Well, in 60
Right.
feet, you probably could.
Yeah,
Because you're still probably close to the shore.
What Carson's talking about, if you're like jumping out in the ocean in just the middle of nowhere, you'll lose your sense of direction very quickly.
I mean,
'Cause
I'd
you
be
have no
okay with
reference
that.
point.
I'd be okay with that if I could see my boat, right?
Yeah.
But it's just the vast unknown that exists beneath you that I find so daunting.
It's kind of cool.
It is, and it's epic in a way.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that.
Would you be scared of somebody nibbling your toes? What if your toes got nibbled, like as soon as you jumped in?
I would scream
Dude,
so
I
loud.
would totally do that. I would go down there and just like, do this to your feet. Scare you to death. That would be so much fun.
I'd be terrified. Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
want to jump in the ocean like that for the same reason. Like I wouldn't want to be, caught in the middle of the wilderness without a gun. Like I just wouldn't want to do that. And in the ocean, like, how much more helpless are you gonna get?
Oh, you can get a harpoon, right? They make
Just swimming around in the ocean with a harpoon.
they make
Yeah.
ocean guns. It's called a harpoon,
Right.
or a torpedo.
You're gonna carry one of those when you jump off a boat. Yeah,
Some
totally.
people do. They make harpoons you can carry.
Okay.
That's how they used to kill whales, right?
Yeah, but if you're jumping off a boat for a swim, you're not gonna just casually swing a
apparently
harpoon
you
over
are.
your back.
Apparently you are because you're paranoid.
I would.
So-
Yeah. That's so scary.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably do it. It's a little bit freaky, but I would rather jump in 15,000 feet in the middle of nowhere in the ocean than 30 feet off the coast of Florida.
Interesting. I don't really want to do either.
Well, yeah, but if you had to choose, that's not the game. The game is if you had to choose.
I'm not playing by
You
the
ever
rules
play
anymore,
Would
am
You
I?
Rather?
Right.
One of the options of would you rather is not play the game because you have to play.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
interesting.
I wrote down the Baltic Sea anomaly, and I can't remember what that is now.
Oh, there's all kinds of weird stuff in those northern seas, but I don't know what that is specifically. Other than Sweden has the most islands of any country in the world, and it's on the Baltic Sea. Did you know that?
I didn't know Sweden had the most islands. Nobody talks about the Swedish Isles.
Yeah, well, Gotland, that's a famous island in Sweden.
Interesting. Oh, I forgot about this one. We were talking about like UAPs and UFOs and USOs. The Baltic Sea anomaly supposedly is some formation, be it of rock or unknown origin at the bottom of the ocean that appears to be perhaps the remains of a UFO. It's quite interesting. John, pull up a photo of that real quick.
So it's kind of like this thing in the Great Lakes, but a vehicle set Stonehenge.
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't compare those two.
Well, they're both underwater.
They're both underwater, but one is conceptually much different than the other. That'd be like finding a bunch of arranged rocks, in the middle of a field, and then finding a freaking television in the middle of the field.
Dude,
those are very different.
That looks like a Millennium Falcon.
It does, kind of, yeah. Yeah. And that's supposedly a pieced together sonar image, I think.
Is there one? Well, can they not go down there and take a picture of it?
It's hard in water.
Well, they do that with the Titanic.
Not from far away.
Yeah, but they get right up by it and take a picture.
You wouldn't be able to see
that it was anything?
Right.
So this thing's huge then?
I don't know how huge it is, but it's not small.
How big is it?
I don't know.
Ocean X? Is that another one of Elon's companies? Golly, man. He makes everything, doesn't he?
I think that's a boat.
Oh, it don't say how big it is.
NBC did a story on it, apparently.
Is that not a picture of it right there? 200-foot diameter. Oh, my goodness. That's big.
It's not small.
That is like the Millennium Falcon, dude.
Yeah.
That would like take up all of the football field.
Maybe that's where George Lucas got the idea.
Maybe so. Maybe he's an alien, right? Maybe he's in on it. Maybe he was born down there in that thing, and he came up and somehow got to California somehow. And
okay.
And that was his inspiration for Star Wars.
Okay.
I don't know. It's late. I'm making leaps.
All right. I think that about sums up this whole discussion for the evening. George Lucas.
George Lucas was born underwater in the ocean.
Yeah. George Lucas walking out of the ocean. That's all right. Cool. You have anything else you want to share about the oceans?
Nah. I'd love to go to the end of them one day. But other than that, they're pretty weird. How many gallons of water do you think's in the ocean? Before we leave.
What a dumb question.
It's not a dumb question. You know how we used to guess how many M&Ms were in the jar?
I can see the whole jar.
Well, just pretend you can see the whole ocean. I'm gonna guess 500 quadrillion.
Who in the world would even know that?
7,600 quintillion.
No one's going to know that.
Oh, dude, I was close. I was close with that second guess.
352 quintillion gallons.
Yeah, of course.
I'm calling on that number. Nobody knows how to figure out how many gallons of water are in the ocean.
I can't believe how close I got.
Let me see that math. What in the world?
Yeah, and then there's that plastic island. They said there's an island of plastic.
They do. They do say there's an island of plastic.
Can you take a flight there? Get on Southwest and go to the island of plastic?
Fly to the island, yeah. Why don't we start taking criminals there instead of locking them up in prison?
That's
just
right,
take them
dude.
to the
Just make
plastic
them
island.
go clean up the plastic island.
Yeah.
It's a good idea, Carson. You should be in charge, Carson.
Yeah. There you go.
Can't really figure out how they've arrived at this number.
Yeah, well, they just pulled it out of their butthole, like I just pulled that out of my butthole.
That's probably exactly how they came up with it.
But if it's on Google, it's got to be true. They know. Of course they know. And do they count the ice? Because if the ice melts, that's more, and that's what they say is happening.
Well, there are 321,000 and 321,003,000 cubic miles. So,
Well, can you
I guess it
imagine?
just took the volume of that area.
Can you imagine how big a cubic mile
How did
is?
anybody figure out how many? If they haven't mapped all the oceans, they can't know that that's how much ocean there is.
True. But they know the Carson, their scientists. Stop that. They know it.
This is the dumbest. It's so stupid.
Do you think the U.S. Geological Survey is full of scientists? I think they are. I think they know.
That is idiotic. They have no clue. Wow. I mean, that's a nice, probably a good and excellent educated guess. I imagine some very smart people came up with that number. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying to state it like absolute fact seems a little crazy to me.
Yeah, it's just like the coastline problem. Like nobody can measure how much coastline there is.
Right. You just can't.
Yeah. Who knows, man?
You can approximate it, but it changes all the time too, so there's that.
Yeah. And you just get, it just like varies and varies and varies, and it just would take an eternity to measure it. You could always get more accurate.
Right.
It's like the infinity that's the infinite amount of numbers that's in between 1 and 2. That's like measuring the coastline.
Well, and it just seems disingenuous if you're going to publicly say you haven't mapped all the oceans to presume that you know how much water's in there. That seems crazy.
Well, take it up with the U.S. Geological Survey. They're scientists. That's all I can say. What do I
Right.
know?
Yeah, we're just stupid people in my spare room.
Talking about the ocean. Let's go to the ocean soon.
All right, well, this has been fun.
Bye-bye.